Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to share with you a little segment from this wonderful, wonderful new book I'm reading, The Road to Wisdom on Truth, Science, Faith, and Trust by Francis Collins. Collins headed the National Institutes of Health for many, many, many years. He also was the principal director of the Human Genome Project. So clearly a very bright man, a man of science. But if you happen to read this book, and I hope you do, you will also find he's a man of great faith. So those subsets, the road to wisdom, truth, which is a major concern for all of us today. Where do we find truth? How do we trust? What do we trust? Science, which I happen to believe in. I'm the father of scientists. And although I am not one, I continue to love to investigate, particularly neuroscience, and faith and trust. I'm a person of great faith. I'm married to a person, my wife Sandra, of even greater faith, the greatest I've ever known. And then trust, which is a major concern for all of us today. So, in his book, about three-quarters of the way through, Collins gives a tool for assessment, a set of criteria to assess truth. And I want to share them with you and share my perspective on them. And hopefully, it may give you some thoughts to either explore this book or explore other avenues of truth and faith that you can dig into in this very, very challenging electoral time and political time. First, he talks about integrity. And that is one of my favorite core values. I work towards it every single day. The word integrity, of course, comes from the word integer, and my mathematicians know integer means a whole number. So when I am a person of integrity, when I am integrous, I am a whole person. My behaviors, my actions, what I do every day is the same thing that comes out of my mouth. And that is in my public life, where I'm speaking to schools, speaking to teachers, speaking to students, and also in my private life with my own family. He goes on to say that integrity is honesty, which I think integrity is actually deeper than honesty. Integrity, I think, is walking your talk. And he talks about a moral code that we need to identify those folks that we choose to put our belief in, that we choose to put our trust in. They must have a moral code. And so one thing that I'm always working on with my graduate students and myself is, what is our moral code? What are our virtues? And I think it's so much more valuable. Yes, we need to identify what our vices are. And at 72, for me, it's pretty much ice cream. But we need to also dig deeply into what do we value? What are our virtues? What are our character traits? And the research tells us there are six significant historical pillars of character: trust and trustworthiness, respect for yourself and others, responsibility for everything you think, feel, say, and do, a sense of caring for others, which of course includes empathy and compassion, justice and fairness, and citizenship and civic virtue. And here we are in that great time in our democracy when we get to decide. We get to cast our vote to put our values on the line, and as a good contributing citizen, make a difference in our future. He talks about integrity, including fairness and justice. And that fairness includes fairness for everyone. And I'm pausing to let us all think about that. Treating everyone with kindness, treating everyone with respect, finding ways as the great spiritual teachers like Jesus Christ and Buddha and Gandhi and Mother Teresa, finding ways to forgive. And that's powerful. So the last thing he asks us, or asks me as I read, a mark of one's integrity is how do we handle difficult situations? How do we handle different circumstances? And for me, the past 4 years in the pandemic, having major heart surgery, and that recovery process allowed me to dig deep into my character, hopefully allowed me to dig deep into my integrity. In my audiobook, Epiphany of the Heart, I speak for chapters on what that was like and how challenging it was for me. And then 2 years ago, the death of our beloved special needs daughter, Ashley. That is the single greatest challenge of my life. I'd sign up for heart surgery again and again if I could have her back. But she's part of the universe, as she always has been, spreading her light and her love. And so Ashley's always taught me to handle difficult situations with love. And even those times when I didn't want to, I tried to find a way to dig deep in my prayer and always seeking the counsel of my beloved wife, Sandra. How do I find a way to love? And if I can't find a way to love, absolutely finding a way to respect. He then goes on to the second piece, which is competence. And I found that very, very interesting. And he talks, remember, he's a scientist, and he's a scientist of faith. So it's an interesting connection. So he talks about competence. The expertise matters. Expertise matters. So here, there's so many things available today. People go on television. We watch all these endless commercials about who to vote for, and almost to the point of not wanting to vote for anyone because it's so, forgive me, sickening to watch all these commercials. And it hurts us, by the way. Please know this stuff gets in. And I think about, where do I go for my sources of information? It's not the television. It's certainly not the internet because I'm not a computer guy. It's not my iPhone because I don't have one. It's certainly not Twitter or X because I think forgive me, that's just nutty. It's not Google because I don't know how to Google. Sandra loves to Google information. That's pretty convenient stuff. But when I needed my heart surgery, I went to experts. I went to the best people I and my doctors could find. And we happened to find Penn Medicine at Chester County Hospital. And I am blanking on the surgeon's name right now, but from the moment I walked in his office, I was greeted with kindness. Kindness by everybody. Now remember, this is a science group. This is a group that works with heart issues all the time and really serious, complicated heart issues. Every single human being was kind. Every single human being was humane. So the blend of the social, emotional, kind human being with the experts in science. In this regard, it was me and my heart. And I remember sitting down with the surgeon. We still all have masks on, right? It's still the heyday of COVID. It's 2020. And I remember him reaching out and holding my hand. This is a heart surgeon. He's the head of Penn Medicine Heart Surgery. And comforting me and letting me know exactly what was going to happen. Detail, detail, detail. Where is the detail today from the folks that we are going to vote for next week? Detail. Find it. Find your detail. Read, read, read. Find your detail. It's not in any computer. It's not in any internet. It's not in any TV. And it's sure as heck not in any commercial. Find your detail. And he told me, as he was comforting me, the last piece of scientific data he shared, he said he put all my data into a computer, everything about me, my life, my history, and it spit out this data saying, I, Thom Stecher, have a 0.3% chance of dying in this surgery. Wow. It was easy. From that moment on, it was easy. Like, yes, let's do this. Let's do it tomorrow. It wasn't tomorrow, but it was close to that. Probably about a week later. But I hope you hear me. Competence, balanced with the science and the human come together. And then he talks about one of my favorite values and character traits being essential to help us make decisions as human beings: humility. Who are we listening to that has humility? See, the expert, the article, the piece that we're putting our valuable attention on and maybe voting for our future, that person needs to have integrity. They need to have competence, and they need to have some degree of human humility, knowing we're not perfect. And when we make mistakes, because each of us do every single day, saying, I am sorry. I have made a mistake. This is what I've done, and I apologize. Those are the kind of people I want helping to lead my life. And lastly, he talks about putting our trust in those with aligned values. So this one challenges me because right now in my life, I am digging into research to help me understand people that don't think and feel the way I do, people that don't have my worldview, people that don't have my life experience, because I want to understand the perspectives of others. And ultimately, I will cast my vote with those that I believe have aligned values to me. So those are the four: the road to wisdom, truth, science, faith, and trust. Francis Collins. How do we trust? What do we trust? The criteria for deciding: integrity, competence, humility, and aligned values. Thank you, my friends. Be well, everyone. God bless you.